Sorry. My name is ValPancakes, and this is the stack. I have a whole nice intro written out, and it just all went away.
Hey, man, look, it's a nice intro. It's that stack, baby. Let's go. Come on.
So joining me tonight, as you can see, is the one Jaden Newman.
You left out a few names there. It's El Numero Uno.
El Numero Uno.
Number one. The uncrowned king of the scenic city, Jaden frickin' Newman.
I would definitely not be able to do any better than that.
You should watch the announcers try to do it, man. Oh, it's so fun.
Do you just add a new thing every show?
I do. I try to add another way of saying number one in a different language, because how cool is that, right? You know, because it's only a matter of time until Jaden Newman's worldwide.
Fair. May I suggest for your next language, like Czech?
What is it?
Czech, like CZEHC.
I've never even heard of this.
Like from the Czech Republic.
Oh my God! I'm so ignorant. Yeah,
no, you got it.
Do you know how to say? Do you know how to say one in Czech?
No.
Oh.
That's.
Come on, Val. What are you doing?
I wasn't prepared to know that, but I will definitely figure it out after the stream and tweet it at you. So everyone has something to look forward to.
Friday, whenever we're live.
I'll tweet it at you 2 times. Jeden. That sounds
that sounds good to me.
That sounds a lot like Jaden.
Yeah, I'll just tell people that's what it is. Hell.
Well, now that we have that taken care of. Viewers, you may have seen Jaden wrestling across the Midwest and Southeast in promotions like Southern Underground Pro, New South Pro Wrestling, and of course, the lovely Action Wrestling. And he's dynamic, and please welcome Jaden Newman tonight.
I see. I've never had someone say I was dynamic. I've heard them say I'm rambunctious and repulsive, but I'll take dynamic. That's cool. Hey guys, Val, thank you for having me on. Thank you, Bald Monkeys podcast group, for letting me hop on here too and spew trash words. So thank you.
We always thank the Bald Monkeys, and thank you for taking time out of your night to talk to me about wrestling and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love wrestling stuff.
So to jump right in, what was a young Jaden Newman like? Maybe before you were the one.
Just as bad. No, a young Jaden Newman honestly was the complete opposite of the Jaden Newman that you see right here on your screen and the voice that you hear as well. I was actually quite a shy kid, and a lot of people, I know it's hard to believe, but it's the truth. I stuck to myself, just me and my only, and I was lucky enough to, have my family around to kind of like get me out of my shell. I don't really talk about it a lot, but I'll talk about it on here because I don't care to talk about it, like I said. Whenever I was younger, I was diagnosed with Asperger's. So for me, being on the spectrum, it was not like, I won't say it was hard to overcome, but it was something for me that was definitely harder than it would be for most to open up and become the social butterfly that I've become. So that's pretty much how a young Jaden Newman was. I was lucky to have my family. I was lucky to have friends that helped break me out of my shell and helped me find my personality. And that's really how I was.
So what was your first exposure to wrestling?
My first exposure to wrestling. So I had a Nintendo GameCube. Val, did you ever have one of those? Were you a gamer?
I had a Super Nintendo because I'm probably quite a bit older than you, but I do know what a GameCube is.
Gotcha.
I've played one before.
So at least good. So I had a Nintendo GameCube, And the first game I ever had for it, now this was before I even knew anything about professional wrestling, I got Legends of Wrestling from a place called McCabe's Bookstore. And obviously they have a bunch of used items and things of that sort. My grandfather would take me there quite frequently, and I found that game, and I saw Hulk Hogan on the cover, and I just thought to myself, "Who's this ass?" So once I got it, I was like, "Man, well, I got to see what this is about." So, I got it. I was 7 years old, 7 or 6 years old, and saw Hulk Hogan and saw all these different legends on there, Rob Van Dam, and et cetera, et cetera. And then I saw Ricky Morton, and I was like, "Man, that dude has a mullet. That's cool as shit." So then I used Ricky Morton to beat the hell out of Hulk Hogan. And that was kind of like my first exposure to wrestling. Then, because I guess I was enjoying the video game, my grandfather and we would also go to the flea markets around here. And we ended up finding out there was a wrestling booth. Now, in the wrestling booth was where you could find me quite frequently as a child, because once I found out that this was a whole world of just absolute magic, because to me it's just absolutely magical. I was just there all the time, and I was learning new things, and that's where I picked up a DVD. It was Rey Mysterio's first WWE documentary, and I fell in love. The first match I ever watched because of that DVD was Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc 1997. But that's what exposed me to professional wrestling. And that is what set me on this tailspin of where I'm at now.
So, what would you say is your biggest inspirations in wrestling?
Are we talking about as far as just talent, or
Like, was there a specific wrestler that inspired you to get into like wrestling as far as like training is concerned?
got you? Okay, yeah. So as far as who inspired me to want to train to become a professional wrestler, I was very big into five wrestlers, and this was my top five. It's changed over the years, but this was it at the time. It was Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, and Chris Hero, because I ended up discovering independent wrestling. That was my first independent wrestler I fell in love with. But the two out of those five that I named that really made me want to do this was Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy. The match that I recall that really made me go, "This is it. This is what I want to do," was indeed also was the Jeff Hardy Matt Hardy feud from WrestleMania 25 and Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels from 25. Honestly, that whole WrestleMania was the thing that sparked the love and almost like my reasoning to want to be a part of this. So that I would say was my main inspiration.
So, when you decided to pursue wrestling, like how did you make that decision and how did you decide where to train?
Okay. So at this point, I think I started going to a little independent show in Ringgold, Georgia. Um, and over time, it's kind of like where I got like my start, like seeing the local guys, because local wrestling was a foreign concept to me until I went there. So I then started going, and about age 12, 11 or 12, I told my grandfather, I said, I want to become a professional wrestler. And my grandfather asked the man that ran the show in Ringgold, how can Jaden become one? Can he train early? Whatever. And guy shut it down. K-boshed it instantly. He was like, no. He was like, he's too young. But whenever he turns 14, and if he's still interested, he can do a session and try it out. So for about three or 4 years, I had to wait. But at the age of 14, I eventually got to step into a ring and start training with a man who I will not name, but is the guy that essentially started training me. And then I went on to have multiple trainers and mentors, such as one notable Carrie Awful.
So what was your first bump like, or your first time in the ring?
Man, so my first time in the ring, it was the hardest ring I think I've ever been in to this day. It felt like there was literally no little bit of padding, not even a little bit of padding, like just straight. It felt like concrete, if we're being real. Like there's normally wooden boards or plywood or any of that. No, I felt like there was concrete. So the first bump I ever took in professional wrestling with that, I literally felt like I broke my back and I collapsed a lung and I shit my pants. So all these things at once kind of hit, and it was just it hurts so bad, but it felt so good knowing that like I got to do it, and I kept getting up and doing it. You know, one thing I always think about from that first training session I had was we were doing this drill where it was high knees, and then it would be high knees to the center of the ring, take a big bump. So we did that, and I remember after a few rounds of that, I rolled out, and my mom tells me that I was like super pale faced, and I started puking. Like I was on the outside just puking into the garbage can because they knew what they were doing. And I remember I looked at her and my grandfather. My grandfather and her looked at me, and they were like, "Yeah, get back in there. You know you're gonna keep doing this." I said, "Yeah, you're right." I just rolled back in and just kept at it. So, my first bump was it was shit like most people's were, but it was inspiring almost.
So it hurt, but like not enough to keep you from to stop
Exactly.
doing it.
Exactly.
So fast forward a few years, I don't know how much time. How did you come up with the character that you are now, and the one?
So whatever the idea for the character initially came into play, I was in a weird transitional period of my career. I started wrestling at a young age. I made my debut on August 3rd of 2013 at the age of 15, and I was originally the party starter. I used to wear fluffy leg warmers and polo shirts, and everything was color coordinated and matched. And I used to come out to "Sexy and I Know It" mixed with Gangnam Style and dance and shake and gyrate. And it was weird. I shouldn't have been doing it as a kid, but I was. And it kind of became a thing where it was like, okay, you can't do this forever. And I didn't feel like I was being um, an extension of my real self. Not that I'm a cocky prick in real life. That's not a thing, but um, sometimes I can be. So really, what it was I was at work one day, whenever I was doing electrical work, and I was driving in my work van, and I heard for the first time, which is going to sound really weird, I heard Ludacris's "Number One Spot" come on, and like I was just sitting there bumping it, and I was like, I looked at my partner I was working with, and I was like, "Hey, let's turn that up." So I started listening to it, and I thought it was like the hardest song I ever heard. I was like, man, what if somebody brought that attitude to professional wrestling? And then like I started thinking more on it, um, and I got into like really big, like I got really big into Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor, in my opinion, is one of the greatest fighters of all time, hands down. I don't give a shit if he lost this last one. Still, greatest fighter of all time. Nobody can beat him. Um, and I just started listening to him and just hearing him talk, and then I did a study about Ric Flair and just how he just portrayed himself, and how there was like he had this aura about him. Like whenever you saw him walk in the room, you knew he was the best. And then what really did it for me, this is my favorite, Muhammad Ali. I saw a quote of his where he essentially said, "I called myself the greatest before I ever was." And it was almost like this weird motivational factor to it that made me go, man, aside from being motivational, how much of a dick move is it to say that you're the greatest at something when you're not even that great yet? So that's what it was. That was the moment I said, I have to do this. Um, so then, it just all kind of fell into place. And I am now who you see in front of you. So it's been about probably three or 4 years I've now been portraying this. And it's been a ball. Like I feel like now the ball is rolling and my creative juices are flowing. I'm really just getting to dig into it, just have fun.
So, first, just have to ask: is there any YouTube clips of you as the party starter? Because that sounds awesome.
There's a shit ton out there. I've tried to figure out how to get them taken off YouTube, but there's a shit ton. Yes, there is footage of it, and I really hope that the internet doesn't bury me once they see
it. Well, I'm definitely gonna look that up when we're done.
Oh God.
I can't promise that I won't tweet that.
Oh, it's all good. I understand. Hey, respect. I get it. I got you, girl.
But if it's really bad, I really won't. But if it's only like mildly embarrassing to you, then I probably will. So, what are your future plans and dreams like through wrestling, and what keeps you motivated to keep going?
What keeps me motivated to keep going? Obviously, plans change over time. This past year I got married, and that was, a really big milestone for me. So now a lot of the things I think about are like, how am I going to support a family that I'm looking to have, because I'm looking to have a kid too as well, soon. But my main focus, my main goal is to 100% make it to a major company of some kind, whether it be the WWE, whether it be AEW, Ring of Honor. My goal is to just show why I belong there. 8 years of grinding, and I know it doesn't seem like that long, and I'm 22, but like 8 years of grinding, it gets you hungrier than you were before. And honestly, that's my main goal and dream. Now, if we're talking short term for current, I'm gonna say be absolutely fucking everywhere. There's no bounds in my mind to where Jaden Newman can be. I'm looking right at Game Changer Wrestling. I'm looking at Limitless Wrestling. I'm looking at AIW. I'm looking at every single major independent wrestling promotion, because that's where I want to be. If I want to get to that next step, I have to go right to their door. So that's the plan. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing but upside for Jaden Newman. You can say it's cocky all you want, but it's just the truth. You have to put that in the back of your head to be the reason you want to wake up every morning. I don't want to have to sit there and continue going into my job every day. Not saying I hate my job, but like, why wouldn't you want to be doing the job that you love the most?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, cool.
So outside of wrestling, what are your other hobbies?
My other hobbies, well, I have a couple animals. I'm a pet dad, so I have 3 cats and 1 dog. So I love to just sit at home with them and cuddle whenever I can. They're all sweet babies. They're all shitheads, but they're sweet babies. See, I like to just get out and do things in my life whenever we have the time. We're both so busy. She's the manager of a retail store. Between my shoot job and professional wrestling, I stay gone quite frequently. But we like to spend as much time as we can together. And normally it's small stuff. Like it could literally just be us getting out and walking beautiful downtown Chattanooga. It could be us just sitting in for the night and watching a movie. We love movies, by the way. And it's literally like, that's just the stuff. Like, normally aside from wrestling, we just stay home. especially during the pandemic and everything. It's increased us to stay home more, which is nice. I mean, it's literally how we spent our honeymoon.
Aw. So you said you like movies a lot. What are your like top 5 favorite movies?
Oh, geez. Top five
I
favorite
know.
movies. All right. So this is going to be the weirdest compilation of movie titles that you've probably ever heard. But I'm going to try and nail them. So in no particular order, we're going to say The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. Titanic. I don't even know how to say who's in that. You already know. It's so good. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. This isn't really one movie, but I'll say it. The Nightmare on Elm Street series. I really enjoyed those movies a lot. Um, Jeepers Creepers, one of the best horror films of all time. And where am I at? Was that 4? Do I have one? Do I have one more? Huh?
I think we'll give you one more.
Okay, one more. Let's see here. You know what? I'm gonna say The Lost Boys. I can't believe I almost forgot that. The Lost Boys is one of my favorite movies of all time.
That is a very interesting spread of films.
I told you it's all over the place, man. All over the place.
It
like
really is. Like you're hitting every genre and time period.
Exactly. It's like I'm time traveling.
So, moving right along through some more favorites. What is your favorite like hype music or road music?
Favorite road music. So I really enjoy punk, pop punk, and hip hop music. So I have a lot of that on my playlist. The artist I've been listening to a lot more recently is actually a really good friend of mine's band. His name's Wade Hunt. He's the frontman for a band called Knockout Kid. They're based out of Chicago. I highly recommend listening to them. Available on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Music. They're kind of a big deal. And I really enjoy their music right now, man. Great for road trips. As far as like hype music, like what really gets me in the zone, whether I'm training, whether I'm about to perform. Um, this is gonna sound really odd, but I would like to listen to my own music. Like it puts me in that headspace that I need to be in to do the things I need to, if that makes sense.
I understand. I too am a fan of pop punk, so I
Oh yeah.
appreciate that.
Who's
Yeah,
your,
I'm
who's
pop
your
punk
favorite
girl.
pop punk bands? Let me
Oh
hear 'em.
man, New Found Glory.
All right.
Now you put me on the spot. I like a lot of like local music. So one of my favorite bands is a local band. They're called the JV All Stars. They are like
Okay.
pure pop punk, and you can find them on Spotify and Apple
Val, you're gonna have
Music.
to link me this. I'm gonna have to look them up now.
I will absolutely shoot you a link. They're the nicest guys, and they're technically on, I guess I would say on hiatus because they all have different places now, but they still like reconvene to do shows every now and again.
Yeah.
But one of my all-time favorite bands, and I will absolutely shoot you a link when we're done.
Oh, absolutely. I love new music, and that goes for anyone that's out there listening. Like, shoot me music all the time. If I don't respond, just know I did listen to the music.
So, what is your favorite city to wrestle in?
My favorite city to wrestle in. I'm gonna go with sweet old Nashville, Tennessee. Um, Basement East is my favorite venue because I feel like that's where, as the number one character, I got to really grow. And not even is that, like, as a man, as a professional wrestler, I got to grow there as well. I've made a lot of moments in that building. And shout out Southern Underground Pro, Kevin Coods, all those guys, because if it wasn't for them giving me a chance to perform and just challenge myself, because they gave me, God bless, they put me through a series for sure with some of these guys. Jeremy Wyatt, Anthony Henry, um, Craig Mitchell, so many really talented dudes out there. They were putting me in there, beat the hell out of me, but they taught me to give it right back. And that's why it's almost one of my favorite cities to wrestle in, because I feel like we grew together in a sense. Going into the basement east crowd absolutely hating the dog shit out of me, which don't get me wrong, some of them still do. I kind of do really shitty things, but um, a lot of them now have a respect for me as well, and that's super humbling, you know. So I really love Nashville. That's it to me like a second home.
What is your favorite opponent to wrestle?
Favorite opponent to wrestle.
Yeah, like who do you have, like,
Man,
you
you
know that
put me
you're
on the
gonna go out
spot
and
with
have,
that one.
and like someone that you know you're gonna go out and have like a banger match with every time?
I'm gonna say Bailey Blake, a lesser known name, but Bailey Blake. If you want to go watch some of his matches, you can go find them on IWTV. He's got work with New South. He's got work with Action. A really good match from Action, actually. Both at the feature showcase with AC Mack and against Graham Bell at Bangers Only. Since we're speaking of bangers, you can go watch those to kind of get a glimpse of like what this guy brings to the table. Um, Me and Bailey, we have a little bit of a history of ourselves as well, because we went to middle school with each other. That's how we became friends. Before we were even wrestling, he's like a brother to me, literally. We've beat the hell out of each other too many times, even to the point to where like we've had to take each other to the hospital. Um, but I mean, that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But with him, I know every single time we get in that ring that we're going to make magic. We're going to captivate the crowd, and that's always our goal, is to leave them wanting more. And it seems that they always kind of do in Chattanooga. So Bailey Blake, 100%. Please give that dude some recognition. Put some respect on his
So if you could pick anybody to be your tag partner, who would you pick to be your tag partner?
name. Okay, now you're asking some really interesting questions here.
Getting into deep stuff.
You are. If I could pick anyone as my tag partner, I think I'm gonna go with one from my past here. Let's say Nick Iggy of the Carnies. That man right there. That's what I would pick. It's his birthday, by the way. So happy birthday, Nick. I know you're probably gonna watch this later, or maybe not. Who knows what you're doing? You're in quarantine, but still.
Happy birthday, Nick Iggy.
Yeah. Everyone go flood his timeline with pictures of cats and muscly men. And Disney. He loves Disney. Yeah, post a lot of Gaston on his page. He loves that.
So what is your favorite move to take, and what is your favorite move to perform or to give to somebody?
I don't know if I have a favorite move to take. I got a bad neck. I'll tell you my favorite move to perform though. Is the patented now first to last elbow, which is normally what I finish off my opponents with at the end of my matches. Um, it's something that I have grown and established, and it means a lot to me for that. So it's my favorite move to give easily. Second favorite to give would be the cravat neck breaker. I absolutely love it. My third favorite, which is now climbing the rankings because of Twitter and social media. I don't know if I invented it, but I kind of created a move, I guess. I don't know. It's a kitchen sink. It's a kitchen sink scoop power slam, and is the absolute craziest thing that I've done. But it's one of my absolute favorites to give. Um, as far as taking though, I'll say a pile driver. Just if you hit me with it, for the love of God, just let me be. Pin me, pay me, brother. You know.
So then, if you could have any dream, if you could wrestle anybody, like what would your dream match be? Dream opponent? Any fancy stipulations? Go wild.
All right. So if I could wrestle absolutely anybody, my dream scenario is Shawn Michaels, Iron Man match, um, Madison Square Garden.
And is there a particular reason why you picked Madison Square Garden, or it's just kind of like the iconic, like?
To me, like it's one of the meccas of professional wrestling. So they've always said, once you made it to New York, you made it, and it's kind of like that ideology for me. MSG is definitely a venue I would love to wrestle in one day. So yeah, I'd say that's why, and then obviously Shawn being one of the greatest of all time, and just, thinking back to all those matches he had with Taker that were just absolutely just so compelling and told such an amazing story. Like, I just to be able to share that ring and do that would just be hands down amazing. It'd be a hell of an experience.
It's so many people say Madison Square Garden.
Really?
So yeah.
Man, I'm so generic.
It's a good choice, I guess, if that many people are making it, right?
I guess so. Yeah, hell.
So you said that you travel around a lot for wrestling, which makes absolute sense. So you have to have at least one like really good travel story, either something that was like crazy or super funny, and you can go ahead and use any aliases you prefer so that you don't have to out any guilty parties of any
I was like, yeah,
potential situation.
I was like, yeah, I don't want to get anyone, banned from the old wrestling world. Let me think here.
Yeah, I'm not looking to get anybody canceled.
No, absolutely not. Which, granted, none of these stories are that bad. Man, what's a good one I can think of? Here we are. All right, so this is the story of the Tiger Truck Stop in, I believe, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
This is already sounding good.
It's insane. So about 3 years ago, I was on a road trip with a few individuals, and one of them was booked for the Reality of Wrestling Booker T's promotion in Houston, Texas. I had never been to Texas at that point, so what I decided to do was, hop in the car, introduce myself, and look to make a couple connections. And I did, luckily, through that. But on the way to Houston, we saw this billboard once we hit Louisiana, and it was a big billboard with a tiger, and obviously everything's purple and yellow there. So it says live tiger, exit whatever number. And I looked at everyone in the car and I go, we're gonna stop here, right? And they go, well, hell yeah, it's a live tiger. So like what the shit, So we pull in, and it's the dinkiest gas station I've ever seen. And I go, where the hell's this tiger at? So like we're looking around, we're driving around this gas station. They got a tiger statue, and that's pretty sick. But I'm like, it ain't a real tiger, so I don't give a shit. I see a kitten walking out the trash, and I go, man, that's wild. We eventually turn, and we realize the big ass cage right beside the gas station. And we go, wow, that must be where the tiger's at. It was. So we go over there, and we're like, whistling for the tiger. We're shaking the cage. We're trying to like get this tiger to come out because we ain't seen it. This tiger's really quiet. And we start to worry. So I say, all right, guys, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to walk into this gas station, and I'm going to ask them, where the hell is this tiger? So I did just that. And I walked in, and for some reason, my most southern voice kicked on. And this is where it gets bad. There's a circle of people just chilling in the middle of this gas station, like a circle. of people. And I'm like, why is there a circle of people? And I go, hi. Everyone turns their head in unison. Where's the tiger at? And I'll be damned if this big burly bayou man comes out from out of nowhere, eventually, essentially just comes out of like pure just thin air and goes, tiger's dead. And I go, huh, what? And I hear the woman behind the counter go, died 2 weeks ago. It was just crying. Like I upset, like I struck a nerve and triggered these people, I guess. So they're upset, they're crying, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I turn around, everyone that was with me is back in the car. They got out of there. I panicked. I freaked out and panicked. So I had to buy me some chocolate milk or something to ease this thing, you know. So I ended up buying some chocolate milk, and I was like, you know, I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't know, I guess, that your tiger died. And they go, yeah, it's okay. And then this big burly bayou man pops back up again and like puts his hand on my shoulder. And it's the most terrifying thing ever. And he goes, everything dies, son, eventually. And I go, okay, gotta go. Bang, going to Houston.
Not me, not tonight. See you later.
Yeah, so that happened, and ooh.
They really need to change the billboard.
Hopefully they got a live tiger now. Man, yeah, I was like, that's probably my most favorite one. You know, obviously I have some with Nasty Leroy, but Nasty Leroy's a beast, man. He's something else.
I almost really want to hear those, and at the same time, I'm like, maybe better not.
I can. So I'll tell a quick one because it's not bad. So Nasty Leroy, myself, and Donnie Janella, we were heading to a GCW show one time, and Nasty was sitting in the front seat. I was in the back because we also had Bailey Blake with us. I'll throw his name in there because he was. And Nasty, like whenever he's sleeping, he starts cutting these promos, and he starts talking shit. So he's like calling out MJF, and he's like calling MJF a rat bastard and saying he's gonna beat his ass and all this crazy stuff. And I was like, and me and Bailey are looking at each other and we're like, Donnie, is this real life? What's going on? And like he starts throwing bionic elbows. And like he's like, get your ass back here. Pow, pow. And it's the most amazing thing ever. Like we ended up waking Leroy up. We said, Leroy. He's like, what? We're like, Leroy, buddy, you were you good? He goes, yeah, I was spotting that rat bastard, MJF. And we're like, oh, okay. He knows. and then later on, whenever we get to Indianapolis, he would let a dog out in a hotel that we didn't even know the dog or anything. Just a dog running around the hotel because of Leroy. Oh God, I love him so much. Nasty, man, shout out Nasty Leroy.
So, you kind of mentioned, but I'm a Snackosaurus Rex. So, what are your favorite like road snacks?
Favorite road snacks for me, you can't go wrong with the classic, the trolley sour gummy worms. They're an absolute treat. They're a delight. They're so good. If I'm really hating myself, I'll probably eat some Takis. I love Takis. They're always gonna have, I almost said a sweet spot. They're always gonna have a nice spot in my heart though, because I love spicy foods. So those are always a go-to. But yeah, I'd probably say trolley sour gummy worms every time.
So I know that you have an upcoming show on Friday for Action.
Oh yeah.
Where you're doing the one challenge?
The first time ever one and done challenge live on independent wrestling.tv. Absolutely.
So explain the one and done challenge to the viewing public.
I'll explain this. And I want y'all to get out your notepads because this is going to be a doozy, all right? This is a challenge that Kurt Angle couldn't even beat. He couldn't even win. He couldn't even conquer with a broke freaking neck. Shawn Michaels, even with the boyhood dream, couldn't even make this dream happen. No. He would go into a third retirement attempting this. Tom Brady couldn't even win this. I'm telling you, he couldn't. So, here it is. This is as simple as it gets. Matt Sells, the only way you can beat me is with a 1 count. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jaden, what the hell? That doesn't work out for you. Why, yeah, it does. Because if you go back and you watch the last action show I was at, I got a lot of 1 counts on Matt Sells. So many, in fact, that I lost count. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You know, Val, do you know what 1 times 1 is?
1.
Exactly. Bingo. So, if you think that I'm going into this Friday live on IWTV expecting to lose, think again. Because I'm about to hand Matt Sells his first loss at the hands of El Numero Uno Ichiban number 1, Jaden Newman.
When you say it like that, I absolutely believe that you're going to win.
Good.
Sorry, Matt
I'm
Sells.
going to.
I will be firmly behind you on Twitter.
Good. I need somebody to be.
So, what would you tell a 10-year-old Jaden after all of your experiences and everything you know now? If you could go back to your younger self, what would you tell your younger self?
Quit crying. No. I would tell him to keep his chin up. Things will get better. And I think you'll be pretty impressed at where you go in life.
So, other than the upcoming action show, do you have anything else in the works planned that you can tell us about here this evening?
I do. So I'm returning to New South on February 20th. Um, let's see here. And on that show, it's a big deal because I think I'm going to have my Haas qualifier match. They're going to finally let me do it. But the best part is, they've let me pick who I want to wrestle. So if I can beat the opponent that I've handpicked, I get in the qualifier. Now, whenever you hear Haas, obviously you think to yourself, Haas, Jaden Newman, you're like, what, 195? No, it's not like that. No, it's the heart of the Southern 16. And if there's one thing that people will say is that Jaden Newman is the heart of the South. I've worked hard for that. I really have. I've been busting my tail for years just to get at this level. And I'm not even in my final form, and that's scary for anyone I step in the ring with. But very soon, Val, pay attention. Very soon, I'm going to be announcing this week who I'm wrestling on February 20th to qualify for the Haas tournament. Because I don't want just an easy pick-me-up win. No, I want to wrestle the absolute best to get into that tournament. And then once I win that tournament, I'm coming for Derek Neal in that New Style Championship.
Well, I wish you luck in your Haas tournament.
I appreciate that.
And I'm excited to see who you've picked for your opponent.
Thank you. Like I said, it'll be dropping on Twitter this week. And I think y'all are going to really like who I picked. It's a match that a lot of people probably wouldn't have thought of, but I'm excited that it's going to be happening. Other than New South, though, you can catch me at KFW on March 12th. I'll be returning there in Sevierville, Tennessee. I'll be wrestling Ricky Morton's son, Kerry Morton. And that's going to be pretty exciting because it's kind of a Tennessee dream match for the scene. So I'm excited to get to wrestle him. It's been nice watching him grow and evolve, and he's just been taking off, man. He's been taking off. I watched him and Ricky versus 440 at the Fight Forever show. Fight forever, don't give up. You know, Terry Funk. Yeah, prayers for him right now. But I'm excited for that. You know, I WrestleMania week's coming up soon. WrestleMania weekend. Um, I'm unsure currently what my stance is on as far as like shows that I can say I'm appearing on right now, but I will be at WrestleMania weekend, masked up, COVID free, um, and I'm excited. It's a big opportunity, and you know it's what I live for.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'm going down to Tampa as well.
Oh
So
yeah,
masked up.
Val, we're gonna have to go get some pancakes.
Oh, we can absolutely go get some pancakes. And that is a delightful segue into my very next question, which is how do you take your pancakes, or what is the best pancakes you've ever had?
The best pancakes I've ever had. Man, you can't go wrong with the International House of Pancakes, IHOP, and that sweet, sweet ass cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake pancake platter. That right there, that's the spot. I'm telling you, it works every time.
I have had those, and I agree, they're delicious.
They're so good, so good. Can't go wrong with them. Never.
And then just winding down for the evening, I just have one last question. It's going to be kind of a doozy. So I'm going to need you to prepare yourself. Let me know,
All
are you
right,
prepared?
I think so.
Okay. So you have your choice of Oreos. Are you going to pick a single stuffed Oreo or a double stuffed Oreo?
I'm going double stuff, baby. I'm going all in.
Right answer.
That's
I don't know
it.
why.
There's no other way to eat them.
Right? I don't know why anybody would pick a single stuffed Oreo over a double stuffed.
Exactly. I'll tell you who wouldn't. Matt Sells.
Oh. Is
I
he a
heard
single
Matt
stuffed
Sells.
guy?
Look, I heard Matt Sells likes his Oreos without the cream filled middle.
So he just takes the cookies?
Yeah, he just takes the cookies. How boring, right?
Yeah.
He likes
I
to
wouldn't play
sprinkle.
that game.
He likes to sprinkle his light beer on them and chew on them. Soggy cookies. That's nasty.
Just dunks the Oreo cookie part into just light beer.
Yeah, and then he cries his tears of alcoholism. I don't know.
Well, do you have anything else that you want to plug or talk about tonight? The floor is yours.
Honestly, I just want to thank you once again for having me on. I love getting to talk about wrestling and meet very nice people because it's been amazing talking to you. I would actually talk to you outside of this, so that's nice. Um, Honestly, I guess I'll plug social media. You know, you can follow me on Twitter at Jaden for real, Instagram at Jaden1Newman. I have a Facebook page, Jaden Newman official. TikTok, Jaden for real, but you ain't gonna get much content on there, so I'd probably just stick to Twitter and Instagram. I also as well have a podcast. You can listen to it exclusively on SoundCloud. It's called How Do You Take Your Wrestling, where instead of asking about pancakes wrestling, I talk about coffee and wrestling. But coffee and pancakes go really good together, so I think myself and Val might have ourselves a joint show soon. Maybe Mania weekend, who knows?
I would be down for that.
I look, I'll have my people talk to your people, but my people's only me. So,
Yeah, my cat doesn't do much for me in the way of being my people. So,
yo, yeah, for real. Hey, does your cat have thumbs like mine?
no,
Man,
she's thumbless.
you're missing out. You're missing out. You need a cat with thumbs. They can do everything.
That's what I'm afraid of. I think it's probably better.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna look into my cats and their thumbs.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your evening to chit chat with me, and hopefully it was enjoyable for you. I had a great time. You're,
Good.
like I said, very dynamic and very kind, wonderful person. This has been The Stack. Again, I'm ValPancakes, and this has been the one, Jaden Newman. You can catch him on Action Wrestling's Eyes on the Throne, and that is Friday, February 12th at 9 p.m., and that's going to be live on IWTV. And if you don't have IWTV, use promo code ACTION for a 5-day free trial.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
That's right. You can't miss.
I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would miss that, especially if you can get a 5-day free trial and watch it, and then just binge all of the Jaden Newman content that you can find on IWTV, which I'm sure there is quite a lot. So thank you again for your time, and thank you everyone for watching. You have a good evening.